So I've got all the pannier bags out, I've got all the spares. I'm going to try and put the two together and see how much space we need for it all. So this isn't all the spares, it doesn't include nuts and bolts and other random little bits and pieces, but it's the main bulk of hard to get parts. So we'll do a quick run through of what we've got here. So in here we have fuel filters. We run these after our auxiliary tanks because obviously we're going to fill them up with some crap. We're also going to sieve all our fuel that goes in, but that's just to protect them. Here is a big pile of random seals. These are all the special seals that we need for wheel bearing changes, and also some really BMW specific bearing seals for the swing arms that you just can't get anywhere. You can only get from BMW. We can source the rest of the bearings and seals if something packs in, probably anywhere, but there's a couple of seals that we can't, so we've got them. Random stuff like oil filter O-rings and sump plug washers, copper sump plug washers. Load of bearings. We've got more bearings than this. This is just some of them. We've got enough bearings for 2 full changes on either bike. I mean, wheel bearings packing anywhere, and because we're going through loads of river crossings, they're going to get destroyed pretty quick. We've only got the best. We've got SKF seals and SKF bearings to try and keep them going as long as possible. Got a new little pump just for pumping up the tyres. I haven't got that packed yet. 2 of the 6 tubes will be taken. We're going to take 3 rear and 3 front tubes. I had to use some putting the tyres on recently because I just punctured them putting tyres on because I hate it. So I'll have to get some more. But yeah, we should have 6 tubes, 3 tubes each. Here's 6 oil changes. So that's 6 filters for 6 oil changes, little micro filters. Here we've got 2 starter solenoids. So the starter solenoids pack up, we can repair them. The thing with the solenoid is that they seem to run forever, but when they do fail, you're always pointing up a hill, so it's not like you can bump start it. So, got some spares, 2 of those. These are spare fork seals and bushes. Probably getting a bit extreme taking these, but the suspension is going to get absolutely hammered. Wouldn't be surprised. We're going to do 18,000 miles from here just to Magadan. And that's just stage 1 on the trip, so the suspension is going to get absolutely hammered. It's one part of our spare throttle and clutch cable kit. So that's the throttle cable, waiting on a clutch cable. Jenny's effectively got a spare clutch cable anyway, because we left the clutch cable intact in position, and she's now got a hydraulic clutch. So if anything goes wrong with the hydro, she can just unhook it, put the cable clutch lever on, and she's good to go. That's just a drug pack that I pulled out. It's got a load of hard to get medicine in case anyone gets diarrhea or something worse. Loads of brake pads. These are all, we both share back brake pads on the same bikes, but they've got different front pads. Jenny's front brakes are the original BMW brakes, but because mine has a KTM front end, it uses KTM pads. So I've actually got in the garage more pads than this. I've got another few sets of these, and we've also got some more rear pads because if we get stuck in a big muddy bog, you can go through pads really quickly, rear pads. So maybe like a pet, you can even go through a set in a day supposedly, so we want to be prepared for that. So we've got extra, we'll probably get maybe a couple more pairs. 2 sets of oil, these are going to go in before we go, and then we'll just source oil on the way. 2 fuel pumps with all the little filter bits to go with them. I've seen on a couple of videos like the Adventure Dirt Bike TV guys, when they did London to Australia, they had loads of problems with fuel pumps. I mean, that was the KTM's, but you never know, do you? It was the fuel that probably killed the fuel pump, so good to have spare ones. And here we have a spare alternator, because if you lose your alternator, you've had it. We've got a spare regulator for the alternator, because obviously if you lose that again, you've had it. Clutch pack. I've seen a couple of trips ruined because people had burnt out clutches and they couldn't get the parts in the country and had to fly home. So that's to stop that. And there's some filter oil for our foam air filters. So yeah, that's where we're at for this area of the spares. There will be a few more to come, but it's just quite difficult to get spares, and also spares that you might use day to day, like brake pads. It's good to have a load of them with you. So that's where we're at the minute, and now I'm going to try and see if I can pack them into one of the bags. So I'm going to put my spares, because they're probably going to weigh the most, on the left side of the bike, because there's a fuel tank on the right side and it just balances out the weight better, I would imagine. Don't do any touch. Alternator. Regulator. Put me in the box in the meantime to see what it's like. So one fuel pump. Two fuel pumps. Shoulder down back. So split the brake pads between us, between me and Jenny, one light's worth each. Fork seals, 3 oil filters. That's the fuel filters. All of the random seals. A couple of tubes. Load of wheel bearings. So there we go, that's up to there. So I'm sure we can get it down tighter than that, get rid of the boxes and that, and at least I can get it right in my head that I know about how much spares we need to take and how much space we have left. So if you roll that lot over, you still got half a bag probably of storage space. So a quick look in the bag. So there's all the spares. So they only go about halfway up. Now, we have got some other objects to come. We're taking a spare sprag clutch for the starter, so if this that's what connects the starter motor to the engine. They've been known to fail on the G650 and that can strand you, so we're taking one of them, but up until now that's what we've got. So yeah, there you go, that's it, all in that bag. That's that.